it's
they beat,
technically.
1 minute.
Sure.
I'll wait a minute.
Beat them in the playoffs last year.
Wyndham was a pretty good team. They beat them, and they beat
We
so
might.
they're 3-1 right now. Nice. Fast.
I'd like to call the curriculum subcommittee to order. Roll call, please.
Member Sadoway?
Present.
Member Dugan?
Present.
Member Gately?
Present.
We have a presentation, transitioning to standards-based report cards. Who's present?
Jennifer Rubacava had a family issue to deal with that can be avoided, and so luckily we had people from the committee available to step in. We had Sarah Acorn, the principal that was on the committee, and also Deb Catulus, who was on the committee. Sarah's our principal at Acorn, and Deb Catulus, a former CIT at Callahan, who is now the interim assistant director of data assessment and accountability. They will be presenting. They want to? Hello, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening.
Today we're going to walk you through the transition to standards-based report cards for grades 3 through 5. This work represents the collaboration of our report card development team, a dedicated group of teachers, specialists, coaches, administrators who came together to ensure that the reporting system better reflects the student learning. What are standards-based report cards? Unlike traditional report cards, they rely on letter grades, focus on mastery of specific skills and concepts. Instead of a single grade, they can mask strengths or struggles. Families receive detailed feedback on how students are progressing in each area. This means parents, teachers, and students can all have a clearer picture about the learning journey, not just a summary. So why the shift? There are 3 main reasons. First, alignment. Connect directly to our state and district learning standards. Secondly, clarity. Families receive more precise feedback on student learning. And third is growth. Standard-based report cards encourage a growth mindset, helping students see learning as a journey rather than just a final score. Standards-based report cards are built around the standards we teach every single day. It has a direct connection to curriculum, ensuring that what is being assessed aligns with what students are expected to learn at each grade level. Consistent expectations across classrooms. Traditional grading can vary from teacher to teacher, but with standards-based report cards, they ensure all students are evaluated based on the same academic criteria. It also supports instructional alignment. It shows student progress towards mastery of the state standards. Offers clear feedback on student learning. One of the greatest benefits of standards-based report cards is the clarity of feedback that they provide. Uses performance levels instead of percentages. Students are evaluated whether they are exceeding, meeting, progressing, or needing support and mastery of each skill, giving a clearer picture of where they stand. And it also enables targeted intervention. Teachers, students, and caregivers can clearly see which skills need further development, allowing for individualized support. It also facilitates more meaningful caregiver-teacher communication, and caregivers receive specific insights into the student's learning. Lastly, it encourages growth mindset. It shifts focus from grades to progress. Students see their learning as a journey rather than being defined as one grade. Recognizes improvement instead of being penalized for every struggle. Students are encouraged to keep working towards mastery. Promotes perseverance. Since standards-based report cards emphasize learning over time, students are more likely to develop resilience and a willingness to tackle challenges.
With student-based report cards, students are assessed based solely on what they have learned. Their grades are not influenced by factors like behavior, effort, or compliance. This shift is especially powerful for our multilingual learners and special education students. It allows consistency in grading across classrooms and schools and eliminates grade penalties for early struggles. Provides clear and actionable feedback and encourages growth mindset. In this way, students-based report cards create a fairer, more transparent system. If we think about the impact on stakeholders for students, first, it encourages deeper learning and understanding. It reduces anxiety over a single test score. And finally, students-based report cards help students take ownership of their progress. Ultimately, standards-based report cards empower students to see themselves as active participants in their own growth. For teachers, standards-based report cards provide clear insights into student progress. This clarity supports targeted instruction and intervention, ensures that we have grading consistency across classrooms and schools, and provides cohesion across elementary grade levels. In short, standards-based report cards gives teachers a stronger roadmap to guide instruction and make professional collaboration more meaningful. When we think about the impact on families, students-based report cards allow caregivers to better understand their students' learning journey. It encourages meaningful discussions at home, provides an individualized roadmap for caregivers to support their students' learning. This transparency ultimately strengthens caregiver involvement and builds a stronger connection between school and home. To make students feel supported in this transition, we're focusing on several key strategies. First, we're using student-friendly language to explain standards and performance levels. We want students to understand what meeting or progressing really means in terms that they can relate to. Second, we're celebrating growth and progress, not just the final outcomes. And finally, we're encouraging student-led conferences. For teachers, we're putting multiple supports in place to make this transition successful. We're providing professional development on how to assess standards consistently and how to communicate student progress effectively to families. We're equipping teachers with communication tools, including scripts, talking points, and templates for conferences so that they can feel prepared and confident when speaking with caregivers. And we're ensuring ongoing support through PLC time where teachers can share their experiences with the students-based report cards, share their challenges, and align practices. And finally, for families, our goal is to make the new system as clear and transparent as possible. We'll share sample report cards, provide family guides, whether they're one-to-one handouts or with FAQs, and of course use multiple communication channels to share updates via Parent Square's social media platforms and newsletters. So in closing, the proposed timeline is here, as you can see, pending the school committee approval and vote. We've laid out a timeline for this transition. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Any questions? Member Dugan?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I agree. I think moving to transitions-based report cards is definitely the way to go. My only concern would be the timeline a little bit. So it looks like October 5th, that's when we'll be updating the report cards. Are teachers aware of what the type of data they should be collecting right now? Or because just, speaking from example, I'm doing a ton of testing right now in my classroom, baseline stuff. And if the district were to give me a report card on October 5th of things that I haven't assessed or wasn't aware I needed to assess, that could be a bit of an issue. So,
I think when developing the report card, looking at the curriculum maps to make
Okay.
sure that there's alignment, and then, using the standards based on the assessments that you have already assessed,
Okay.
that they'll have that data. And that's why,
Okay.
letting them know quickly will be more beneficial.
So they're all aware of,
They know, they're aware, K-2, it's already in progress.
Okay.
So they know it's on the horizon.
Okay.
And, there's been talk of it, so I think they're just actually waiting
okay,
for it.
thank you.
Just a little added clarity of that it's on the horizon, the actual change in the report card.
I can't hear her.
From the standards.
You come to the mic, I can't hear you.
And then people at home.
Good evening. Just for a little added clarity, what's on the horizon is the change in the report card. However, from day one, teachers have been teaching from the standards. So there is no change in content of what's assessed. It's just a matter of what's changing on the report card itself.
All right,
Awesome.
thank you.
Member Satterwhite?
So I have a couple questions. The first one is, can you tell me like what this rollout is gonna look like? I know that it takes 2 to 3 years of professional learning and calibration for the districts to implement standard-based grading with fidelity. And I do see like the developmental team inside of the PowerPoint, but not like an implementation team. So I'm just wondering what that will look like and if training's already scheduled.
The implementation team would include some people from that committee as well, but also leveraging, we transitioned already to K through 2. So we have that capacity, added capacity that we didn't necessarily have in elementary when we added K2 because that was our first time. So teachers in the building are familiar with it. We have that capacity to collaborate between teachers at grade levels to support the transition and implementation and learning from what necessarily didn't work well in the last rollout as well as we roll out this second cycle for grades 3 through 5. And so basically using K2 as a blueprint for the work that's already happening and improved on what we learned from that last rollout.
And are there shared rubrics or exemplars? How will the district prevent the system from being arbitrary or inequitable across the schools?
When you say arbitrary or inequitable, could you be more specific as like a specific example so that I can make sure that I'm targeting what you're looking for?
So like if one grade could depend on, if one grade could depend on who their teacher is versus what they actually learned.
And reflecting on the presentation and what the research says, that is one of the intentions of moving away from traditional grading systems of A, B, C. And I think that Deb pointed that out as well, and thinking about that I'm not necessarily just assessing on behavior or participation, but whether the student actually mastered the standard itself. And so that it's clear, more clear to the student as to what it means when I get a mastery or partial mastered as opposed to a C or a B. What does it mean when I get a B or a C? And so that there is more clear understanding among all stakeholders, the parent, the teacher, and the student. And so actually the standards-based report card is more equitable in making sure that people have access to the information that they need for parents and better supporting their kids, students, and understanding how they can improve better, specifically on what it is, not just math itself, but also for the teacher to drive improved instruction as well.
And what will the communication look like so that families can interpret and like understand this? And will it be in like multiple languages? And is there also like a feedback loop too that will exist?
Absolutely. So if you recall last year, we shifted away from School Messenger to Parent Square. And one of the reasons for Parent Square is that it allows that two-way communication. So School Messenger allowed us to communicate with the families in the multiple languages, but it didn't necessarily allow the families to communicate back with us. And so our tool that we did adopt last year and is in full implementation this year, if I spoke Spanish as a parent and Sarah is my principal, Sarah communicates in English, but it goes to the parent in Spanish. The parent replies in Spanish, but it goes back to Sarah in English. So there isn't that need for like the translation back and forth or waiting period. So parents can respond directly to the message to the teacher and or school leader. And it will be in the multiple languages, just for clarity.
And then just lastly, I think, so my primary concern, as I've already expressed, is the timeline, just like Member Dugan stated. I feel like this should have been implemented on September 3rd, to be fair. Standard-based grading requires consistent judgments of mastery, and so I think without preparation, and the first year is gonna essentially be untrained teachers producing uncalibrated grades. It's kind of like, what's the value of the data? Is it gonna be valid?
So keeping in mind, even as I think about this week, we trained 150 teachers in science on the open science curriculum. And so it's not anything that they haven't been already trained on. Again, it's just explicit that this is what we're using to measure student progress and communicate to the students and families. So teachers have been trained on how to use standards, but it's applying it in the way of the report card. There've been several trainings over the years as well, and like unpacking standards and the work that we already do.
Member Gately?
So first of all, I don't see a report card in front of me. I like to see what I'm approving. I think Desi would like me to look at what I'm going to approve. So I just don't understand why that's not in front of us.
What they will require is us to remove all the data from the system at this time to provide an actual copy of what the 3 through 5 report cards look like. But I am more than happy, and I did share with Member Satterwhite, a copy of what the K through 2 report cards look like so that you have an idea of what they look like. They would look very similar. We would also have to go through the process of the translations. And we did not want to embark on that. In the event that it is not approved, then we would have to go back on the tight timeline and go back and change it again if we did all of that before the school committee approval.
It seemed to work for K-2. When was this done? When was this written? Because I thought it was done in April. And why didn't we get it till today?
So the development of the work did happen in the spring, but again, the formatting has to happen in the system. It's not a formatting that happens like in a Word document that I can share with you, because if I shared it with you in a Word document or Excel document, it's not going to look exactly like it would in PowerSchool in the system. And there are a lot of iterations that go back and forth, at least 20, before you will actually get what the report card looks like. Just for like even the formatting of alignment, like from left to right, are these lines aligned up? So there's so many iterations. If I shared it with you after a first round, it wouldn't be how parents look like, how parents and students will receive it.
I don't know. So if this doesn't go through, I'm not going to take responsibility of the school committee not approving this. I think the timeline was off. I think it should have been here day one, September 3rd. We should have known about it. It should have been here, and it's late. So that's how I feel about it. Thank you.
Member Dugan?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh,
No,
okay.
yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Any other questions?
So I'll make a motion to move elementary math, the standards-based report cards, grades 3 to 5, to the full committee.
Second? You move it to the full committee?
Move it to the full committee. What was his motion?
Oh, to move it to the full
Move
committee.
to the full committee, yeah.
And then we all vote on it, right?
Okay.
Right?
Then we can all vote on it.
Is that right, Jared? Then we can all vote on it? Okay.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Second?
Second. Member Sadoway?
No.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
No.
So now we won't walk forward.
No, it won't go forward.
Okay.
So the motion failed? Yep. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. We have to pass that down.
Oh, policy, it's A.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right, so I would like to call to order the policy subcommittee meeting for September 25th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Present.
Member Reed, absent. Member Sadoway?
Present.
Okay, so tonight we have two policies that we're looking to put to the committee. The first is policy JLCD. That's about administering medicines to students within Lynn Public Schools and the procedure for the administration of medication. It would replace policy JLCD. So tonight, to kind of walk us through that, we have Deb Tanzer and Jackie Westran. So if you guys could come to the mic. Thank you for coming tonight, and I appreciate your hard work on this.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so Mass DPH updated the Regulation 105 CMR 210 on July 4th, 2025. That is the administration of medications in public and non-public schools. And you should have received this in the packet prior to the meeting. And in that packet, there was a one-pager that highlighted what the changes were. I wanted to highlight two areas. One is a clear definition of regular school activities, which does include all activities that are organized or sanctioned by the school. The second big change is the ability for school nurses to delegate and train unlicensed school staff in additional emergency rescue medications. Currently, we are restricted to epinephrine auto-injectors, but now we will be able to delegate and train staff in other emergency rescue medications such as epinephrine, which comes in a nasal form, as well as Narcan, and there's other medications for seizures that also come in nasal form. We have updated the policy JLCD to reflect the changes in the regulation, and we also developed procedures to go along with that that are in line with the regulation. And we also had compliance check it to make sure we were correct.
And you were. Great.
And that is all we have, and we would like your approval to
Okay.
move forward.
Any questions from the committee?
I just
Yeah, Member Castellanos.
want to thank you for the packet, and it was just very helpful. The information that you shared was very I appreciate the work, the compliance. Everyone that put this together was very clearly laid out. It was very easy to understand what we were trying to accomplish here, and I do appreciate the work. Thank you.
Okay. We need a motion.
I'm not on policy.
I'm gonna make a motion to move it to the full committee.
Okay, second. Roll call, please.
Member Reed? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed, absent. Member Sadowite?
Yes.
All right. So thank you very much for your hard work on this, and I appreciate everything you did. All right. Next, we have policy JL, which concerns student welfare. And we have Dr. Colella and Lauren Walsh here to present for that one. So, welcome. Thank you. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, Subcommittee Chairperson Dugan, Subcommittee Member Satterwhite, Superintendent Alvarez, and members of the administration, Mayor Nicholson, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the school committee as a whole. You should have before you in your packets a draft amended policy JL on student welfare. Has a little highlight on it. Through the process of the DESE application to garner approval for Teams as a public day school, the director of the Teams program, Leanne Palmer, found an area of growth for the LPS policy manual. A component within the application asks for information on the procedure for reporting suspected student abuse or neglect for students over the age of 18 to the Disabled Persons Protection Commission. Our current policy manual does not speak to reports to DPPC for our over 18 students, only having a provision for minor students with respect to filing 51A reports with DCF. There is not currently a policy with regard to our over 18 students, but the requirement does already exist in the regulation. As we have multiple in-district programs that service these young adults, it's prudent to ensure alignment with DESE expectations in our policy. We reviewed policies for many neighboring and like districts We did not actually find any model policies, likely because many of these districts use out-of-district placements versus having the programs within their city themselves. As a result, we decided that it would probably be best to mirror the existing policy language for filing a 51A. And so we want to memorialize the expectation that these DPPC filings are happening for students over the age of 18 with the DPPC.
Okay. Great. Any questions from the committee? All right. Seeing none, I guess we'd need a motion to put this forward.
Motion to move this forward to the full committee?
Okay, second. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed, absent. Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
All right. So that's that. All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for giving Charlie the night off. That was nice of you. Appreciate it. Yeah, right? All right. Need a motion to adjourn. I don't know if I can, as the chair, I don't think I can. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, motion to adjourn?
Second. Roll call, please.
Sorry.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed, absent. Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Like, missed that.
I didn't hit it properly, you know, I could.
I don't think you have to hit the whole
Yeah, proper way to do it.
whatever.
I see the judges hit it hard. Bang!
I like to
The judges
get it
get
good.
after
Yeah.
Brian.
Get it good. All right. Interesting. Once you hear what the policy is, it's
I was hoping
I'd
that,
say
you know,
all these
people
letters
gonna
are
have
filled out
dialogue and
with
input, you know,
J,
but.
gotta make sure I get that. Yeah, right? It's spelling, or an eye exam, so it's, I gotta, then I feel old and just, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Right?
Mary, is there a printer here?
Excuse me?
Is there a printer here?
Is there a printer? Probably upstairs.
Is it upstairs?
What do you need?
For the proclamation, you know what I put in the email?
so dry right now.
Do we have it?
Yeah, it's in your
Oh, it's in the
packet.
packet? Listen. No, I got you, man. That's my.
I wish I recorded that.
Yes.
There it is, right there. That's sarcasm. You see me? I
Right, we're gonna open the open mic session, which is designed to provide an opportunity for citizens to express their views on matters of concern to the school committee. The sessions are not designed to encourage debate or lengthy exchange of views, but are to have the committee understand numerous points of view. The committee would appreciate speakers keeping their presentation to 3 minutes in order to accommodate as many people as time permits. The chair reserves the right to limit the number of speakers on the same topic to 3. All speakers must be at least 18 years of age or enrolled in high school in the Lynn Public Schools district and having discussed their views with a student government representative. The chair reserves the right to rule the speaker out of order if they feel that the speaker's comments are personal in nature. If a speaker's comments are directed at a school committee member or a member of school administration in attendance, that member through the chair may address the individual. Is there anyone wishing to speak at open mic? Anyone for open mic? Last call for open mic. and we will close the open mic portion of the evening and enter into the 14th regular meeting of the school committee. Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Present.
Member Dugan?
Present.
Member Gately?
Present.
Member Pena?
Present.
Member Reed? Absent. Member Satterwhite?
Present.
Mayor Nicholson?
Present. And I also would like to welcome back our student representative from Lynn Classical, Amelia Stack. For those of you who are able, please rise for the salute to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence in memory of Edward Toner, retired teacher and coach, passed away August 28th, 2025. Michael Noonan, custodian, September 11th, 2025. Thank you. Next item is the minutes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the policy subcommittee on September 11th, 2025, the Buildings and Grounds Subcommittee on September 11th, 2025, and the 13th regular meeting on September 11th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any votes taken in the curriculum subcommittee meeting?
That's your question.
So I think the vote was to not advance the proposal, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any votes taken in the policy sub?
Yeah, we had two. So the first was to approve policy JLCD, administering medicines to students within Lynn Public Schools, and also the procedure for administration of medications.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed? Absent. Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
All right, and the second one was policy JL, an updated version of that, which is all concerning student welfare.
Second.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed? Absent. Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes. Next, we have presentations on facilities.
So, good evening, everyone. We are very proud to introduce 4 new exciting additions to the Lynn Public Schools community. Each one was designed to meet the evolving needs of our students and families. These spaces reflect our commitment to innovation, equity, and access to high-quality education at every single stage of our students' journeys. Tonight, we're going to visit these 4 schools: the Frederick Douglass Collegiate Academy, expanding college and career pathways for our high school students, which is also home to our Fresh Start program, as well as our therapeutic program. Bennett Street Early Childhood Center, which we refer to as ECC, which is laying a strong foundation through early childhood education and continues to grow daily. CASA, the City Arts and Science Academy, supporting students with alternate and flexible pathways to success. The Virginia Barton Education Center at Briarcliff, where a safe, compassionate, and enriching environment has been created to meet the unique strengths, needs, and experiences of our students there. These new schools required a monumental amount of work. We are grateful for all the efforts of our ISD department and capital projects team for their focused time, attention, and talents to make these spaces come to fruition. I also want to thank the Building and Grounds Subcommittee, led by Member Gately, for their support to these projects, and also to the mayor and the entire school committee for their commitment to making these projects become a reality. Finally, I want to thank and recognize Dr. Alvarez's leadership, vision, and dedication to delivering schools where all students have access to rigorous, standards-based curriculum programming. Our goal tonight for this report out is to show the current status of these spaces from a facilities lens via video. So let's take a closer look.
All right, good morning, school committee and everyone out there in Lynn. Welcome to CASA for day number 15. So we're here on the second floor, right outside of our main classroom area. And we're gonna go check out some classrooms. We have a couple math and science rooms over here. So come follow me, let's go check out some CASA Sept. Come this way, let's go check out a 6th grade math class and see what those students. Let's go over those questions that you were looking at. So we're gonna head up to the 3rd floor. We'll take you through the makerspace that has no classes right now. But we're gonna cut through the makerspace and then we'll go check out one of our 9th grade classrooms. Come on up. A few notes about the makerspace. Right now, we run a few classes out of here. We run design and modeling, and we run an intro to makerspace. The makerspace will grow as CASA grows. We have plans to add a laser cutter, a couple 3D printers, and then hand tools like electric drills and hand saws that will allow students to get into making.
The text and will be most relevant to your project. As you can see, you use CT skills in pretty much anything you do. Computer science.
All right, so here we are outside of our new dance studio. Our teacher is in here with some students. She's just getting ready to get them doing some dance movement and is previewing what they're getting into. Come on and check out this new space. This is a dance as movement course that is a requirement for all 9th graders. As we grow, every 9th grader would need to take this course in order to be able to take higher level genre-specific dancing. So this is an option for students to just get a feel for what dance could be. And then as CASA grows, we have plans to add more studio space like this with a recording studio, a black box theater, and we do plan to grow into offering ensemble performance. This is what we call Exhibition Day. Students have been working on projects. The theme was, how do we fit into CASA? And students were able to explore the space. They were able to come up with some different project ideas, and they worked on them for the last 4 Wednesdays. And this was a full school presentation. Some highlights were building a greenhouse, or students called it to a bathroom glam-up, where they were looking at ways to redesign bathrooms. And everybody had to present their options for students. And then we just want to talk about the application process. Applications open November 1st, and the lottery will start at the end of January, and we plan to get around to visit the 8th graders and elementary schools in that window.
Welcome, my name is Lynn and I'm the director of the TEAMS program. The TEAMS program is located at 112 Kernwood Drive. Our new space is at the Virginia Barton Educational Center at Briarcliff. TEAMS stands for Together Educating and Advancing Multi-Disabled Students. TEAMS is a special education program offered to students ranging in age from 3 to 22. This year we have 6 classrooms and approximately 27 students.
Math class, do you want to stay?
We would love to.
Yeah, let's move Stephen back. He was just about to activate. Ready? Can you tell us, make this on?
The program provides highly specialized, individualized support to each student in order to maximize their developmental potential. Our staff include many professionals such as teachers, paraprofessionals, nurses, certified nursing assistants, speech and language therapists, board certified behavior analysts, registered behavior technicians, physical therapists, occupational therapists, vision teachers, teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, and an orientation and mobility specialist. Thank you so much for visiting our school today.
Oh, hi. Welcome to Frederick Douglass. Let's take a look around our new building. Come on in. The Frederick Douglass Collegiate students all take college classes and high school classes. The freshmen and sophomores take their professor classes on Mondays and Fridays. The juniors are taking college classes Tuesdays and Thursdays, and our seniors are able to experience a full college course taking 4. Here at Frederick Douglass, we're really trying to build belonging, so our staff is helping us by making all kids feel included. The collegiate students are enrolled in the Liberal Arts Transfer Program at North Shore Community College. The therapeutic program contains students in grades 6 through 12. We partner with Raw Arts and the Robin Music in order to support the needs of our students. Our Fresh Shop program serves students who are 18 to 22. Make sure you say hi if you see them. One of the best things about our new building is our brand new kitchen with our great kitchen staff. Students are really excited at Frederick Douglass to have a nice hot lunch.
Thanks for coming by. We're so happy to see you. Come back later.
Hello, welcome to the Early Childhood Center. My name is Jacqueline Gallo. I'm the Director of Early Learning at the Public Schools, and I'm really excited to share the new space with you today. This year, we just expanded our preschool program from 8 classrooms to 16. Let's come take a look. This is one of our integrated classrooms, which is one of the program models we offer here, along with dual language, small group learning, and inclusion. Throughout the day, students engage in specials such as art, music, technology, writing and early literacy, and physical education. We are lucky to have 2 co-op students from the LBTI Early Childhood Program who are in their 2nd year. They were feeling sad. And at the Early Childhood Center, we are not just a preschool. We're also the home for our Lynn Public Schools Early Childhood Community and Family Engagement and Partnership programs. If you are interested in learning more about the Early Childhood Center or the Early Childhood programs in Lynn Public Schools, please visit our Early Childhood page on the Lynn Public School website.
So I am happy to take comments and questions, but before we do that, I want to thank Shannon Mansfield for her creative genius on this video, and Jorge Santiago for his technical support on this project. And I would be really remiss if I didn't thank the principals, Principal Norkin, Palmer, Gallo, and Fabiano, for their time to acquaint us with their new schools. Thank you.
Questions? Great. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for the video, and echo that to all the people that are involved in creating it, the principals and the technical team. I know we have a team from Capital Projects Unit here this evening as well, who's available for questions, and I want to thank Mike Donovan and Brendan and the incredible work that's happened over the last year or so. I mean, there's been a lot of work for a while with all the buildings, but the amount of work, particularly over the last 6 months, is, I think, amazing. And they have done a great job in a complicated environment. It's hard to do anything in government, and that's particularly true now. There's a lot of demands on everybody for us as public servants, and for us as a district to have accomplished essentially opening 4 new schools is really incredible. So thank you so much to the team for that.
Thank you.
I've had the chance to visit the sites, but I haven't seen all of them in action yet, the way I just saw in that video with students. And, you know, I know the buildings were looking good, but to see the learning and the joy in the kids' eyes and the love that the staff, the educators clearly have for them, as you can see in the way they decorate those spaces, from the, you know, little beds for the kids in the earlier grades to the labs and the technology and the secondary spaces. It's amazing, and I'm just so excited and grateful for everyone who has given so much of themselves and their expertise and their passion to do that, from the team I just mentioned to all our teachers and educators and parents and students who are the ones that really make us see why we do all this. So thank you for that. Any other questions on the facilities? Is there anything?
No, I just wanted to thank Mike Donovan and Brendan, who are with us, and thank you for coming this evening to show support and also answer any questions. But being that there are none, I've said this multiple times, we could not have, the other day Mike said, the vision is yours and we make it happen, and that's exactly the way it happened. So I'm very grateful for all of the work that's been put in and all the behind the scenes and constant contact and interactions with the entire team. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mike.
I also want to mention the city finance team who's helped us fund all these projects, and the council who has allowed for some of these investments to happen, and of course my colleagues here. We have, I think, really made tremendous strides for the district in opening these buildings. And I did want to say that a week from yesterday, so Wednesday, October 1st, is the event for this building, the ribbon cutting for this building on October 1st, and then in November, we will do the official ribbon cutting for the Virginia Barton Center at Briarcliff, which will be very exciting. And I think Patricia Barton's going to participate in that, and we're really excited about it. So awesome. Those are public events, and we hope everyone can make it. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, pre-K enrollment and attendance trends.
pre-K enrollment generally, and just a quick glance at our attendance trends to date so far. So this is pre-K enrollment over the years for Lynn Public Schools for the past 5 years from 2021, which also includes our current enrollment for 2026. As you can see, we've had tremendous growth from 2021. We've almost quadrupled our number of pre-K seats in the district. And so going from 180 pre-K seats in 2021 to 477 in 2026, with significant growth between 2024 and 2026. And so when we think about pre-K and the seats that we offer, we also want to think about our surrounding community as well. So how does our pre-K enrollment over the past 5 years compare geographically to bordering districts? So these might not be districts that look like us, but they do border us geographically as we think about the movement between our communities and our families. And so you see Lynn here on the far left, and that includes Saugus, Salem, Swampscott, Peabody, and Revere. And so what this does, it allows you to look at our growth over time compared to the other cities, but just generally the number of seats that we offer in comparison to the cities that surround us geographically. This slide is slightly different in that it focuses on how does Lynn Public Schools pre-K seats in the past 5 years compared to like districts. When I say like districts, districts that serve students that look more like our students. And so we looked at Chelsea, Lowell, Lawrence, Fall River, and Salem. And it does look slightly different here, but we do offer comparable seats, and in some cases, higher number of pre-K seats than some of the districts that look like us. So what this tells us basically is the higher the ratio, the higher access that our families have to pre-K. And so this slide particularly really looks at based on the number of pre-K seats compared to the actual number of students that we enroll in pre-K. And what this tells us is our families have greater access to pre-K than they did 5 or 6 years ago. It also tells us as well that generally we're closing the gap between what students have access to, as well as we think about the years when they start to count, when we start thinking down the line about accountability and impacts and all those things that we know count for us as a district, outside of just generally serving our students well. And so the higher number of pre-K seats we offer, the more likely we are to close a gap in achievement. Overall enrollment journey. So I'm going to present 2 numbers to you tonight. And if you're looking at the slides, these slides are slightly different. The slides that you have are based on last week, because we have to do the presentation a week at a time. So this is based as of yesterday. Okay. What does enrollment look like? So the numbers are going to look slightly different for you. So overall enrollment, what you see here is the 15,971. This number is what we are funded based on. This number does not include outside placement. It does not include CPPI. And so in an event that you do see some different numbers that are kind of starkly different, that might explain the difference why. And so on the next slide, this does include those groups that I just explained. Outside placement, GYS, CPPI. And so you'll see there is some variation in the numbers there. Enrollment by grade. And so the lighter color blue, that may not be so visible here, the lighter color shows our enrollment last year by grade, and the darker color, blue or green, shows what our enrollment is this year by grade. And you'll notice specifically at certain grade levels that there are some decreases. I'm just going to call out one where you see 10th grade. Last year, it was much higher than it is this year at 1207.
Great.
Enrollment by demographics, education group. And so all of our groups are pretty much similar, except we do see a small decrease for our English language learners in the number of students that are enrolled in our schools as of yesterday. Enrollment by school, again, the same color coding. The lighter color blue or green represents last year. The darker color blue or green represents this year. And so you can see where our larger schools are, but you can also see that there is a decrease in enrollment for some of our larger schools. And so I'm just gonna zone in on two of them. Classical and English are our two largest high schools. And you're wondering you're probably wondering like, why did it decline? What's happening with that enrollment? But before I get there, grab it out this slide. This is our enrollment by month for the past 3 years. The line at the top represents 2024-25, and the gray line represents 23-24. And you'll only see one dot because this is by month for that dark green because we're only in September. But what you'll notice about these trends is that our enrollment increases throughout the year. And yet what we submit for DESE and funding on is by October 1. And so those changes happen throughout the year. You can also look at the student enrollment and year-over-year change by grade level as well. This specifically just shows you where the ups and downs are specifically. And so again, I'm just gonna point out the number 4 in 10th grade. You see that in 2023, we had 1,504 in the 10th grade. 24-25, 1,408. This current school year, we have 1,234 students. That's a 14% decline. And so what's happening? Where are those students going? So this is specifically Lynn English High School. Why are students leaving? Why do we see that decline? In red, you'll notice the two largest reasons. The first one is 44%, about 44% of our students are transferring out of Massachusetts public schools. The second highest reason for Lynn English is that they're transferring out of state. And so there is some variation with Lynn Classical. You'll see that the second highest reason, which is very close to transferring out of Mass public schools, is that they are transferring within LPS. So that might be a student that went into the lottery at LBCI or also enrolled at one of our new high school colleges. Attendance. So in the dark blue, we have attendance percentage, and in the orange, we have our chronic absenteeism. From left to right, you start with 22-23, and on the far right, you have the current school year. And as you can see, there's been some slight variation in orange of chronic absenteeism, but we are at our lowest point that we have been so far in the last few years. And attendance is similar, but slightly higher than it has been in the last 4 years as well.
Questions? Yep.
Just there were other slides in there in the packet, just to let you know. So I don't know if you want.
There are additional slides. Did
Okay.
you have specific questions about the additional slides?
No, just I think because usually now the public doesn't see what we see here, and I think that's something that we should probably pop up. No, to go through the full slide in the packet. It doesn't. We have other the other slides. And the numbers that I was looking at was LPS year 3 trend. I don't know if that's the slide I was looking at. It wasn't matching up to when you were talking. Sorry.
Because one, these numbers are updated as of today.
Oh, okay.
And then also it matters as well, remember as well, if we're looking at one number versus the number other. So your slides that you have are a week dated, where my slides are from as of yesterday. So that's where you're gonna see some variation as well. So I don't mind unhiding the slides, for sure, and sharing them.
We can post this too on the
Yeah.
the,
Okay.
on the website.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All the presentations are posted.
Member Dewey.
Yeah, just a quick clarity. So your first ones where we were comparing to the other districts. So Lynn went up to 2026, but the others stopped at 2025.
Because we don't have that information, that's not information that's not out there yet.
Okay, so that's not out there.
I'm thinking about, we just got out, our numbers are changing every day.
Yeah.
And so when I look at the other districts, that's public information. Their public information is not been
It's
posted.
okay.
So that's why you don't see 2026 for the.
Perfect. Thank you.
Have access right now to our numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Member Castellanos.
Could you just provide some, I guess, like some rationale or just threshold baseline on the attendance data? Like, you shared the data points. You shared it, but like, what does that mean? Are we in a positive trend? Like, I understand chronic absenteeism is a very, very important issue. I know, Julie, your attendance office is working very hard. The month of September is a very critical point for our students. We lose a lot of students. There are a lot of at-risk, vulnerable kids who don't come back to school, and we work very hard this month to get these kids back into the classrooms, get them engaged with the school system. I know, like, you threw a lot of data at us, but how can you provide some context in layman's term for the public to provide us some I guess, results? Because I think the team works really hard. Not to say this data is not effective in how you deliver it to us, but I think there's way more that needs to be talked about. That's not being talked about.
The context, if you look at the data, just over the year, the blue bars go up over time, which represents attendance. And while it's very similar, you do see a slight increase, whereas as you think about the efforts that the enrollment team, that the welcome team, that the schools, from the family engagement specialists, all the work that's been happening, even the way that we communicate with families, with our two-way communication systems, if they feel more welcome, perhaps as well. That, in addition to some other things, are possibly why you see that slightly upward tick in improved attendance for this last, like right where we are right now. And for chronic absenteeism, again, thinking about those strategies, using targeted data, with open architects, some of the systems that we didn't previously have. I think our families, our schools, were able to look at data differently and really target specific groups around who is it that's not coming to school in a much more efficient manner. And so you see the chronic absenteeism goes from 35.5% down to 21.9% right now. We hope that it stays that way. But again, the difference in this data is that we're capturing essentially the first 2 weeks of school versus in the previous years, those years capture a full school year. And so those numbers could potentially change over the year while we know that the efforts will continue and we will continuously improve based on the feedback from our families, the data that we see, the attendance trends of what our students and families tell us. We'll change our strategies to ensure, or hopefully ensure, that our attendance stays the same as it is or it improves throughout the school year.
Okay. We'll let Member Castellanos finish.
So my question is, another question is when we have targeted intervention, when we identify an attendance for me a crisis, before we get into the chronic absenteeism, like before we get to that point, are we progress monitoring? Are we setting it up? Like, I know the supervisors of attendance are they're on top of this, and I wish, that is they do a lot with less. They do a lot. And the welcome center, everyone, it's a robust process, but the progress monitoring piece, I don't see, I guess, are we quantifying those interventions? And how are we going to capture that data throughout I guess there's like quarters, right? I guess when you identify your student or family that we're trying to increase attendance, I don't see that for me, it's like there's major successes that are not in the data that we're not capturing.
So you're talking about the qualitative aspects of what I'm
Qualitative and quantitative, both.
Quantitative is what I'm presenting today, was just like the pure numbers.
Okay.
Which is what my team owns in the data assessment and accountability. And Julie team, the attendance team that you're talking about in the welcome center, that is the team that goes out into the families and the communities and does those things. But as far as your question about how are we capturing those interventions, and so our system, open architects that we have been using for more quantitative, of like what do the numbers say for assessments, attendance, discipline, all of those different things. We've actually adopted it as well as we're shifting into MTSS, which you heard Deputy Cohen talk about in the last school committee meeting. And we will be able to progress monitor and track those interventions in the system and have early warning interventions where we understand before the student hits the 7-day mark or whatever numbers that we put in there, what type of intervention would be most effective for those students. You'll be able to see notes, not just the numbers, to your point, of at different levels you'll have different access levels, but of understanding what types of interventions, what do those communications look like with those families, or what are the other interventions that this student might be receiving in addition to attendance and academics, because we think about the whole child as well. And so open architects will be able to, current currently allows us to do that more effectively.
Now, my next question is, one more question, sorry. So the supervisors of attendance, have they been able to be invited to the I guess the internal leadership teams to discuss like the data work that you guys are doing? I feel like, I feel like they are the experts. They're always like, they're dealing with a lot of really serious matters. Are we utilizing our supervisors and attendants to provide, I guess, the qualitative part that you're talking about, because that is going to allow us to have a little bit more accuracy within the data set that you're presenting, right?
Yes, and so that's one of the wonderful things about this system, Open Architect. is that
Open
you don't have to
Architect.
wait on Dr. Shorter to give you the data. You don't have to wait on Deputy
Open Architect.
Fritz to give you data. Anybody in the district, a teacher, a district level person can access it at any time. It's updated daily, every night, and even for, I've built some practical activities as well, and how do you use this data? And these are not just templated things of me going through the dashboard myself and partnering with school leaders like Julie when she was in that role, or even partnering with teachers and CITs and staff of how would you need this information in application. So it's one way of what I think that what I heard you saying, is I'm presenting the data here today, but I'm also having those conversations. I was at English earlier this week, where I shared them a worksheet of how they can look at their science data in a reflective way so the teachers can improve their instruction. So at the same time, there's also things on the qualitative side of how do we work through and use this data. We have conversations in collaboration with attendance. We have conversations in collaboration with compliance. We have conversations in collaboration with each other. We are a team. And so I think that's what you might be looking for, as everybody has access to this data in the district.
I was also kind of reaching for the MTSS piece where I know there was the teams, excuse me, what is the acronym?
It was CAD.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of leaning towards in terms of just ensuring that the attendance team is part of that process. Because if I think about chronic absenteeism, that could be a topic, or whenever you guys meet to huddle, I think they play a very strong position on what they're seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
We spoke a little bit about it before, the attendance meetings that the schools have, they're part of, and then Julie and I have been partnering around working with the attendance officers as well at the district level. But it sounds like Dr. Shorter had a response.
Yes, and so the intent when designing the collaborative action meetings was intended so that we remove silos. And so while those conversations might work well, there's more power when you're having conversations and collaboration with each other. And so when understanding, to your point, that attendance person might be in the meeting with the academics team. And so thinking about hearing of what's happening with
It's an attendance leader or supervisor, not a person, sorry. No disrespect, but I just feel like it's not. The attendance leader, like there are supervisors of attendance.
Supervisors of attendance,
Yeah.
Or different roles, and so
Yeah.
that's why I refer to a person,
Yeah.
as opposed to a specific role, because it could be different roles within the team, which could be a person at a school or a district level, which there are a variety of positions. And so I gave you the general term, not in any other way. But that team would come together, and so there might be an understanding of like, oh, this student isn't engaged, and so there might be a different set of strategies that the attendance team uses in collaboration with CEL if they're all in the conversation together, as opposed to academics over here having a conversation without the academics and CEL. I'm sorry, the attendance team for the CEL team. And so that we're looking at the whole child and what's the strategy that's going to move everything and for the best outcomes of the student.
Member Pena.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Real detailed. Do we have any data on Ls who are affected by, because there's other things that are affecting, the absentees, and we have a lot of unforeseen, immigration laws that are, chasing families away. And I get, a lot of families reach out to me and they're afraid to send their kids. They're leaving out of state. Do we have any data on what families are affected, or an amount of families that are affected by that? Because some of the children are American, but, some parents are not, and they're afraid. They're afraid to go out, go to school, afraid to go to work. They leave. Do we have any data around that?
When we do, if you want more specific information, I'm more than happy to share back up, share that as a follow-up. As for specific numbers, maybe for two specific schools, but
I just wanted to add, Member Pena, that to provide communication and mitigate some of that misinformation as well, in terms of, how do we keep our students safe in our schools?
Yes.
I've been working with Yvette Martinez, and we've been going, we went last Wednesday and last evening to meetings at some of our faith-based organizations, so that I've directly communicated with parents what our process is, in terms of what do principals have to do, what does staff have to do, and the step-by-step safe schools procedures that we've released to ensure the safety of all students. And it's an opportunity for them to also ask questions, right, about what concerns them, who do they contact, and what should they do. Last night in particular, it was also part of Know Your Rights for some of our community members. And so I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be able to go and do that in Spanish, in the evenings when parents are able to access that information versus just doing a webinar or, sort of a more impersonal method of communication.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Thank you for that clarification.
I just want to add to that. I think it's a really important point. We want to use the data to make decisions. We also are dealing with the data we have, and by design, we don't have data on the people's immigration status. So a lot of I think analysis is sort of are hypothesis-driven, I would say. The enrollment numbers that we saw earlier, the administrative team, Dr. Alvarez and everyone, please feel free to weigh in. But I think the enrollment data we saw earlier would suggest an impact, right, from the immigration enforcement.
Yes.
And we certainly saw that, are seeing that in other districts that are similarly have a high number of immigrant population. Yeah. I think Chelsea was a particularly clear example of that. It almost to the extent that, given the percentage of L's that we have, in particular newcomer L's, you might have thought it would have been even higher, the impact here. But this is why it's so hard to be able to say exactly what's going on, because you also have folks that are moving into the city, that are for whatever reason. I think because we saw the decreases that we did at the high school contrasted with the increases that we saw at the high school in the years leading up to it, I think it's fair to say that is probably some of what we're seeing. We're also seeing the intentional intervention of the district to be adding secondary seats in other places, and so we saw the impact. That we had a clear goal over the last few years to reduce overcrowding at English and Classical, and that's being accomplished in part by adding these programs that we're in, which is I think really exciting. On the attendance front, I know that is such an important conversation, and we have people doing such amazing work to get those numbers as high as we can, and that's also such a critical message that we all need to be working together to get out, that because people are afraid right now, and the school is probably the safest place that your kid can be in.
To my point, that's
exactly
why I want to have this conversation.
Right.
Do we have any data on that? We need to share the information that we protect our schools and our students.
Right. So the message is that the school is the safest place that your kid can be in during the day. We have very strong policy on how our district interacts with immigration enforcement, and that you would need to have a signed warrant, and that's been something that the school committee has set out and affirmed, something that Dr. Alvarez and the LPS team, working in partnership with the Lynn Teachers Union, has made sure that folks are trained on and understand to prepare for those scenarios. And I think what we have seen and we've tried to communicate as a city is that we've been told by immigration enforcement that they are not targeting schools, despite the uncertainty that's kind of been deliberately created in Washington about the reversal of the protected spaces, and that has borne out. Like we despite the fact that we have had incidents near schools and the impact that we've seen that have, we have not had immigration instances inside school buildings, and that hasn't happened anywhere in the Commonwealth that I'm aware of. And so, I think that's something that we can all carry forward and remind folks when we're asked. And I think that's encouraging that the first 2 weeks that we're seeing that kind of attendance. And this is another limitation of the data. There's like counterfactuals. Like, what if we weren't dealing with some of these immigration fears? Maybe all the interventions that we're doing would be seeing even more results. And so, I appreciate the question there, Member Pena, and everyone's work on this. So,
Thank you.
any other questions on attendance or pre-K? Thank you, Dr. Schroeder. All right. Next, we have a request to accept a donation from Andrea O'Donnell of 2 trumpets to the music department for. In the music department. What's the recommendation?
The recommendation is to accept the donation from Andrea O'Donnell of the 2 trumpets to the music department.
Still move.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we need to make an appointment to the North Shore Education Consortium for 2025-2026. It's the will of the committee. Is there a motion?
Motion to appoint Dr. Alvarez to the North Shore Education Consortium Board Member 2526.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed? Absent. Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes. Next, we have a proclamation that you should have in your packet. This was brought to us by by Member Castellanos. Timely discussion given what we're just talking about. I think if there's any discussion, I think Member Castellanos would be happy to answer questions, and otherwise to read the proclamations. Questions? Okay.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for the discussion tonight on attendance. It's very important work. As you know, it's very critical work that is being done to bring chronic absenteeism to their knees. It's a countrywide issue. It's a chronic issue. It's really a crisis, and there have been many firsthand experiences throughout my years as a school committee member and also personally as a student myself at Lynn English High School who's struggled with attendance. And what really made the difference was the level of engagement that I received through the Lynn English faculty and the staff, and it's my village that really helped me carry me throughout to graduation. And it was really important to make sure that the stories like myself, a lot of kids don't really make it. So I take it really serious about getting kids excited to be in school, to help foster that with their families and engage in a way that we're going to build out hope and making sure that we get kids to school, at least get them through the doors. There's so many different barriers and circumstances and root issues that lead to kids to not go to school. And I want to thank the SEL department, the attendance department, the Welcome Center. It takes a really robust operation to achieve that. And I like to request that we create an attendance awareness proclamation. I wrote one up. It's in the packets for Lynn Public Schools. This proclamation would highlight our district's commitment to ensuring every student is present, engaged, and ready to learn each day. So I've drafted that statement to get us going. We know that consistent attendance is directly tied to student success, while chronic absenteeism can have lasting impacts on academic achievement, social emotional growth, and long-term opportunities. By lifting up the importance of attendance, we can emphasize the role our schools, families, and community play in helping students build the positive habits that lead to lifelong success. I believe it's essential to work together to ensure every child has the support they need to be in school, learning, and thriving each day. And I look forward to collaborating on this initiative, and I welcome everyone's thoughts. That's very, I really would like to hear from folks and see how you feel about this, because it really is important.
Member Gailey, Member Pena.
I would like you to read it out loud.
Oh, of course.
So everybody, in the audience can hear it. It is very important, Ryan. I remember Castellanos, and I agree with you on this. And I just want everybody to hear it. You did a great job.
Any questions and comments before I read?
Mayor, did you want to?
I was just gonna make a motion to.
So I'll read it.
Go ahead.
And it's not a long-winded one, I promise. I did try to keep it short and brief and effective. So, whereas education is the foundation for success in school, career, and life, and consistent attendance is critical for student achievement, and whereas strong attendance supports academic growth, positive habits, and lifelong opportunities for every child in Lynn Public Schools. And whereas when students are present, engaged, and ready to learn each day, they are better prepared to thrive both in and beyond the classroom. And whereas families, educators, and the community all play an essential role in encouraging regular school attendance and creating supportive environments where students can succeed. And now, therefore, the Lynn School Committee does hereby proclaim September 2025 as Attendance Awareness Month in Lynn Public Schools and calls upon our students, families, educators, and community partners to work together to build a culture of attendance and ensure that every student is present, engaged, and ready to learn. That's the.
Thank you. Good job. Good job. Good.
Motion to accept.
So I'll take second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed? Absent. Mrs. Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes. Thank you, Member Castellanos. Next, we have the superintendent's evaluation. So I'm just gonna talk a minute about the process and where we are, and then turn it over to Dr. Alvarez. So the school committee and Dr. Alvarez, I think we have done a great job staying on track. There's a lot that goes into these evaluations, and we've been consistently setting goals and evaluating, which is terrific. I think it's a very important function of the school committee, a very important step for the district. And we are using the DESE evaluation guide. So you received the documents and information that Dr. Alvarez had submitted, and she's presenting this evening, and that's the information that you'll need to evaluate the superintendent by October 3rd. So you have the information, that's what you're using, and then those evaluations are due to be submitted on October 3rd against what you're evaluating against is or in comparison to is the goals that we approved previously, and there's a rating system of exceeded, met, significant progress, some progress, or did not meet, and then the indicators that we chose that are aligned with the 4 standards that exist under the DESE process of instructional leadership, management operations, family community engagement, and professional culture, and those are rated unsatisfactory, needs improvements, proficient, or exemplary. So those are the ratings, and then obviously there's a narrative that accompanies the ratings. Those are due to be submitted October 3rd. And then what I will do is combine those evaluations together, and we'll share it out on October 9th, so our next meeting. At that same meeting on October 9th, which this is what we did last year as well, Dr. Alvarez will set new goals for the 2025-2026 school year, and we'll select the indicators that we're going to use for the next time to stay on the cycle. This is a public process, so these are public documents, and so I will put them all together, but what everyone submits is public, and so folks should know that. Any questions about the process or any questions from me before I turn it over to Dr. Alvarez to present her evidence?
I just want to let them know that the manila envelopes they have all the documents in that. So if you were looking for that, that's where they are.
Great, great.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, any other questions? Dr. Offers.
Thank you. So I will start with the district improvement goals. In your packets, you should have 2 sets of documents. And the first goal for district improvement was to foster multilingual learners' literacy proficiency for lifelong success. The measure of success was the WIDA access. And our baseline was 32%. The target was 34.7%. Our actual was 41, and the change was 8.9%. For goal 2, it was promote inclusion and support equitable practices for students with disabilities and individual education plan compliance. And we measured IEP compliance actually over the 2 years. And we started with a baseline of 67% in 22-23. I came to the district in 23-24. The IEP compliance rate then went to 93%, which was a change of 26% from the baseline, and in 24-25 was 87%, which was a change of 20% from the baseline. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read every single portion of this. So goal 3, build inclusive communities, fostering belonging for educators and students. The district used a school belonging survey, and our goal was to improve 3% from the district baseline. We were at 72.8%. Our target was 75.8%. And our actual was 73.4, which was 0.6 of a percent change. Then we also had, by June 2025, we were just talking about chronic absenteeism, and the target was from 31% to 26.9% for all students. Our baseline was 31%. Again, the target was 26.9. The actual was 22.8. And so the change was a decrease of 2.1%. On the next page, page 3, you'll see some graphs on just our actual screenshots of the data that supports the statements. Goal 4 was to integrate mathematics and literacy skills for global engagement and success. And so these were our MCAS student growth percentiles, which would increase from 48.4 to 52.7 or higher in grade 10 ELA, and the change was 1.9% positive. When we went to the next page, on page 4, and you'll see a data screen there from Open Architects as well. And under number 2, there was the same goal except for math. It was the baseline was 46.2, our target was 49.2, and our actual was 49.5%, so a positive change of 3.3. And on page 5, you'll see another screenshot from Open Architects. For goal 5, it was advanced equitable access to advanced coursework. And we used a number of different measures here. The baseline for PSAT was 39.6. The target was 41.6. The actual was 54.8, so our change was 15.2% positive. For advanced placement, the baseline was 2.8%. Our target was 4.8, and the actual ended up being 7.9. That was a positive change of 5.1%. For dual enrollment in early college access, our baseline was 10.7%, meaning that many students were enrolled, In these programs, our target was 12.7, and our actual was 13.8, meaning a change of positive 3.1%. And underneath there, you have just some bullets of the numbers that we looked at for FDCA, advanced placement overall, and PSAT. And there is a graph from College Board that demonstrates the administration of PSAT assessments in 23 before I began as superintendent, 24 where you'll see the green, because PSAT assessments were not being administered regularly to students at the high schools, and in 25 where that continued and what the numbers look like. Any questions up to there?
Member Gailey, Member Castellanos.
So when we say the baseline and the target for PSAT.
Yes.
Those are just the numbers taken the test. That's not saying results of test.
No, so a PSAT is a practice SAT. So the idea behind a PSAT is to ensure that students have access to take it in order to practice for the real SAT, and they just weren't being administered, nor were students receiving accommodations for the PSAT. So we changed that, and we started providing access to 9th, 10th, and 11th graders to be able to sit and take the test.
And the same with the advanced placement?
So advanced placement, the increase was is not only access in terms of students taking it, but also, remember, it's courses that we added through the program of studies, because we've added a significant number of advanced placement courses. And I see you nodding because you're probably taking some of those now.
Okay, this is just people taking it.
Yes, it's administration, and that was our goal, because we had a void of courses that were competitive, and we were not actually providing access to the PSAT as we should.
Member Castellanos.
Yeah, is there any way we could get some pre-pandemic comps? Because I know we have the 21, 22, 23. I don't know if there's, if any of your I don't see.
Pre-2021?
I guess pre-pandemic, which is.
We
yeah,
can.
29, yeah, so.
Yeah, we can certainly ask our partner at College Board. We can send, because they sent us this information at our request. What I do know is that the PSAT, we stopped administering it in 2019. So it had been a few years, and I don't know how far back it goes, but I will certainly contact her and ask her for, as many years as they have available, so we can provide that.
Any of the domains that we could, I guess, like a fair just snapshot from a actually pre-pandemic, just to make sure
Sure.
it's, because there are a lot of different, obviously, challenges within those years that, now.
Sure.
It's good to have that.
Okay. Goal 6, which starts on page 7. So what we documented in goal 6 and the number of areas here, because there are multiple categories, were really turnaround strategies that we wanted to implement in order to mitigate the learning loss from COVID. And based on our iReady assessments as well, we noticed a trend in many of our secondary students where they were either 2 or 3 years below grade level. And so there were a number of strategies that we implemented in terms of strong instructional and operational leadership. And some of these cross over into the indicators that were selected by the committee. So I'm not going to read through all of them, but there is a narrative here. And I do see on page 7, there seems to be either some Xerox issue here. Maybe, Mary, could we recopy page 7 and provide that to all the members? Because it looks like just like a technical error. Is yours fine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
ours
okay,
is
mine
good.
isn't.
Yeah, it's
So
fine.
if everyone's is fine, then we don't need
Ours
to
is
do
good.
that. So there were a number of things here. It was demonstrate strong instructional and operational leadership, implement a data-driven decision-making process for district systems. I can't read this one, but number 3 is promote the portrait of an LPS graduate by developing a culture of high expectations for students and staff. 4, I think is fine, is lead teacher cabinets and empower educators to lead and support turnaround strategies. 5 is increase community involvement in partnerships to contribute to the district. 6 was provide resource allocation through school-based budgeting. And 7 was provide social emotional health support for all students.
7.
So those are all just narratives with some data points in them. And what I'd like to do now is turn over to the.
Did you forget 8?
Unless I don't see 8. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not highlighted. Thank you, Member Gately. 8 was lead school design and innovation. And so the second packet has some information that's duplicated, but these were the standards that the committee selected in October. And so I aligned the evidence that we had into these to make it easier for you to look at the standard that you selected and then look at the evidence that we produced at the district level. And so the first one was instructional leadership. The indicator that was selected by the committee was curriculum. Demonstrates exemplary leadership in ensuring that all students have access to rigorous standards-based curriculum and programming. There are a number of bullets here that have evidence. I think most notably that we improved MCAS accountability ranking from 12th to 33rd in the state between 24 and 25, reflecting 175% increase in student growth and achievement. These links are still live, and I know that we've provided them before. And then, there are different things cited here, including expansion of seats at Bennett Street, at CASA, FTCA, making sure that we established equitable course placement policies to remove systemic barriers for students, the PSAT administrations, expanding AP courses, of course, now reaching 8% of all of our high school students, which is extremely important to us. And also increasing the students in early college and FDCA to 13.8%. On page 2, it goes on to talk about the multilingual learner proficiency growth over 5 years. It's actually the highest it has been over the last 5 years, as well as some of the targeted supports that we provided. For the next standard, it was also instructional leadership, and it was 1B, instruction. Ensures that instructional practices in all settings are grounded in evidence-based strategies designed to engage all students and differentiated to meet individual learning needs. And so I will run down these bullets sort of in summary form. Nearly tripled district's growth percentile ranking between 24 and 25. We improved district performance from 5th lowest to 7th from the bottom, signaling a positive academic momentum. We reduced the number of schools requiring state assistance from 14 in 2024 to 11, and then recently to 8. Increased progress towards targets, placing the district at the upper end of moderate progress and just 1 point away from substantial progress. We've also improved accountability ranking this past year in 17 of our schools, and reduced the number of schools in the lowest 10% to 8 in 2025. Created a centralized data team to support school improvement and strengthen educator data literacy using the Harvard DataWise improvement process. We've also, as you know, have been at the forefront of offering teachers project-based learning across classrooms using MLE instructional strategies, since nearly half of our students are Ls. using Flashlight 360 in secondary schools, resulting in a 3% gain in students' speaking, writing skills, and surpassing program expectations. We're also looking at student opportunities through targeted funding, including supporting HiSET and Sunday Phonics at different schools. This summer, we made a huge push for QTEL professional development for leaders, advanced dual language programming, expanding to 5th grade at Harrington and grade 3 at Connery, with students successfully reaching WIDA attainment benchmarks, and a continued systematic revision of ELD curriculum maps to ensure explicit and consistent language instruction for multilingual learners pre-K through grade 5 for DESE compliance. Standard 2, management and operations. Indicator 2A was environment, develops and executes effective plans, procedures, routines, and operational systems to address a full range of safety, health, and emotional and social needs. So we saw the video earlier of facilities, but really, aside from just the physical demonstration that we provided, we maximized use of district-owned facilities to reduce overcrowding and reliance on leased spaces. We opened not only this building, FTCA, we rebranded one of our programs to Harold Durgan Success Academy, creation of CASA at Fect O'Leary, and the Early Childhood Center at Bennett Street. We've also realigned our central office operation to improve efficiency, service delivery, and cross-departmental collaboration. We've published the LPS Employee Staff Handbook in collaboration with teachers, leaders, and that, of course, is it's also an ongoing project for all of us, but we did not have a handbook 2 years ago when I started here at the district. We've also released since then a principal supplemental administrative procedures that just was given to all principals, I believe early September, detailed guidance on personnel investigations to ensure consistency across the district, aligned, adopted key policies needed to manage school environments effectively. And so we have a number of substantive policies that Charlie Gallo took the lead on, but many of us participated in, and the district administrative procedures that came after that, which are so important to ensure that all schools are operating in a way that is calibrated. Standard 2 was management and operations. Indicator 2B, human resource management and development, implements a cohesive and comprehensive system for hiring, induction, and development to improve staff effectiveness and student learning with a focus on equity and diversity. We have increased the percentage of racially and linguistically diverse teachers by 3% through targeted recruitment strategies. We hired 234 teachers in school year 24-25, including 47 of them were from diverse backgrounds. These are just some numbers from our HR team. By June 9th of 2025, we had employed 1,598 teachers, when 194 of those, 12.14%, identified as diverse, and that was an increase of 10.86% from the previous year, which is pretty high for a district our size. We reduced the teacher vacancies at school opening from 250 in this previous year to this opening. It was 100. We had 160 new teachers who are all very excited, and we also had an advanced district-wide human capital strategy for equitable hiring. We participated in many hiring fairs and career fairs that we had not participated in before. We also supported licensure development for teachers through special education, ESL internships, and those that were waived to provide them with targeted supports. We streamlined HR practices for recruitment, onboarding, and professional development, including MTEL prep, induction support, and monthly licensure meetings. And we provided bonuses to 14 teachers under a teacher diversity grant. Standard 3 was family and community engagement. Under family concerns, effectively responds to and resolves family and community concerns in a timely and equitable manner. We established a system where principals respond directly to high priority family concerns with support from deputy superintendents and the superintendent, ensuring alignment and timely resolution. We created a district family engagement liaison role to provide principals and support families in problem resolution. Ensured concerns are addressed efficiently and escalated when necessary and communicated respectfully in multiple languages. And page 5 provided monthly communications to families highlighting district priorities, updates, and student celebrations, responded to school committee requests within 24 to 48 hours of inquiry, and we strengthened school-home communications and behavioral expectations. This is amazing, resulting in 41% reduction in expulsion hearings. There were 22 in 23 to 24. We were down to 13 last year. And the last standard was professional culture. Indicator 4C, communications, demonstrates strong interpersonal and communication skills across a variety of platforms and audiences. Communicated monthly with elementary and secondary teacher cabinet and the student cabinet for critical feedback to shape a positive student experience. Communicated with parents monthly through Parent Square for general school messages, district updates, and directly with all students in grades 6 through 12 through their student portals. Led the monthly principals meetings to implement the LPS vision and district strategic plan initiatives. Contributed to monthly articles at the item to highlight school initiatives and student success. Communicated with stakeholders, including opposition to KIPP Academy Lynn expansion, advocating for equitable resources for all LPS students. Engaged parents directly at LPAC meetings, providing information and removing barriers for families whose first language is not English. Communicated with LTU and 1736 in a biweekly cadence, resulting in a decrease of contract violations and grievances. This past year, we had 3 grievances from local 1736 and 1 LTU grievance held in abeyance, which was early college. The previous year, 23-24, there were 14 grievances, and in 22-23, 13 grievances, and the breakdown is there for you. We also elevated student and teacher accomplishments through consistent social media presence. Our Meta business data, suite data shows we currently have 13,193 Facebook followers, close to 2,000 Instagram followers, and our opening of school posts reach more than 12,000 people in the first week. Any questions on the second set of evidence?
Great, thank you so much for the presentation there, for submitting all this evidence, and thank you to my colleagues for your forthcoming review and submission, October 3rd. If anyone has questions in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself and Danielle, and of course the superintendent, if you like. And then at the next meeting, we will present the evaluations and do the goals for the next year. Great, thank you. All right, next we have communications.
Thank you. So the request was to provide communication on our elementary K-5, K-2 ELD minutes, and so I'll read through this and answer any questions afterwards. So since 2019, our ELD minutes in grades K-2 were scheduled in whole class blocks that included both English learners and non-ELs. The model diluted the effectiveness of ELD instruction and raised compliance concerns, as ELs are legally entitled to dedicated language development time with ESL licensed educators. That same year, the district used interdisciplinary units as the vehicle for delivering ELD minutes. However, the IDUs did not meet required standards, were not consistently aligned to content, and failed to ensure instructional delivery minutes in every school as mandated by the Look Act, which is Chapter 138 of Act the Act of 2017. As a result, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education had identified corrective actions in the 2019 Tier Focus Monitoring Report, leading to a corrective action plan that was issued on February 5th of 2021. There's a copy of that report in your folders, and we shared the presentation on this in detail last November in a presentation that shared all about how we were correcting those. And so what's changed this year is we have dedicated time for ELS. Our ELD minutes will only be delivered to English learners during the scheduled block. Non-ELs will no longer participate in ELD time. The current schedule during the 35-minute ELD block, ELD teachers will work with ELs on explicit language development, while non-ELs engage in meaningful reinforcement learning, either reading, writing, or math, with their SEI, meaning their general education teacher. The alignment with core curriculum is designated, the ELD designated blocks are now aligned with caring school communities in kindergarten and MyView ELA in grades 1 and 2, ensuring smoother integration with grade level content. Currently the mapping is completed for the MyView units through Unit 4, which it will take teachers through February of 2026. And the remainder of the mapping for Unit 5 and 6 is the expected completion time is February 2026. And so what's changed in early literacy platforms is the grade 2, K-2 have transitioned from DIBELS to iReady to align data analysis outcomes. Unlike DIBELS, iReady provides built-in accommodations for ELs, such as audio support and translation tools, offering English learners more equitable access to assessments while giving educators more consistent, actionable data to inform instruction. The scheduling change allows for the structures necessary to ensure ELs receive the full legal required instructional minutes. Under the Look Act, it also provides ELs with the focused support they need while allowing non-ELs to continue learning in parallel, resulting in equitable use of instructional time, strong compliance with state requirements, and a more coherent instructional system across all of our elementary schools. The district has been notified that we will be under review for the tiered focus monitoring in April of 2026.
Yeah. Thank you for the report. Just a couple questions. So under the current schedule bullet point, when were teachers made aware that this change would be happening?
So we started this process back in February. Mm-hmm. I met with all of our principals. They planned on how they would make the schedule adjustments, and were working with teachers. And I also worked with the teachers at the elementary cabinet that meet with me every month, who engaged in not only understanding but giving us vital feedback and suggestions on how we could realign this to not only meet compliance but to best serve the needs of our students.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. And then I don't know, second grade classroom, what does this look like for their block? Where is it happening? Where are the other students? What does this all kind of look like at the elementary level?
So,
like in practice.
In practice.
Yeah.
So what I will share is, let me give you an example of what it looked like before and what it would look like now.
Okay.
So last year, for example, in an ELA block, which we would assume that everyone is receiving and is Tier 1 instruction, all students were in the ELA block, and the ELD teacher would also come in and provide ELD to all students.
Okay. So it would be like a co-teaching.
Yes, except that so ELs are supposed to have the ELD teacher, right?
To themselves.
In a separate time. And I realize that perhaps this model was created for logistical reasons, lack of minutes. We all would want, if we had our choice, right, our elementaries would have another 30, 45 minutes to the day, but they don't.
Students would love that.
Yeah. I'm sure the students would love that. But because of the time constraints, I think there were decisions made and where everything was sort of happening at the same time, and that does not qualify, right, for actual ELD minutes for a student. So now, what's changed is that an ELD teacher only works with students that are Ls, and our general education teacher during that time would be working with students that are non-Ls.
Okay, thank you. So is that within the classroom? So
Yes,
there's
that's
two
within the classroom.
lessons going on within the classroom. Okay.
That's within the classroom. I wish we had space to
No, yeah,
to
I
move out of
understand.
those classrooms and do it
Yeah,
separately, but we
that's
don't.
tricky because
Yeah.
you drop a pencil in the second grade classroom and they're gone for 10 minutes. So that could be tricky. So I would love to just kind of it's true. I would love to just kind of get some, an update maybe in a month or two how that's going.
Absolutely.
And just because that in my mind seems a bit tricky. While I appreciate that this does need to happen, and I do appreciate our space limitations, in my mind that's a little bit tricky. So yeah. So thank you.
We'll certainly provide updates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Next, we have the student enrollment and attendance report. Julie?
Sure. So in your packet, you have a letter, and as you know, every school district in the Commonwealth is required to report to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education enrollment as of October 1st. So as dated in my letter, which was September 23rd, we had 16,005 students, but as Dr. Shorter just reported, that number now is 15,971. And comparatively speaking, last year the district reported in 2024 16,364 students. So we are down this year 393 students. And our attendance as of September 18th was 93.3, similar to what you saw in Dr. Shorter's presentation. Any questions on this for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I just jump into the superintendent's report, I do want to just share and acknowledge that we have with us Mr. Shinge Mutasa in the audience. I just want to welcome him. He is a doctoral fellow from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. He chose Lynn to come dedicate and work and give of his time. He's a third-year student about to start his doctoral research, and he chose Lynn because his values align very much with ours, and I just want to make sure that you feel welcome. Lynn is a place that welcomes everyone, and I do want you to feel that you belong here with us for the year that you'll be doing some work for your graduate work. So thank you for picking us.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to Lynn.
The 25-26 school year has opened with great energy, optimism, and purpose across our Lynn Public Schools. Students and staff returned to schools that were ready for learning, and our opening days were marked by smooth operations and a renewed sense of community. We captured many of these moments on social media, reflecting the joy of a strong start. I hope you all enjoyed our Facebook feed for that first week. We tried to keep it strong and give you a lot of, capture a lot of visual moments of what was happening in the schools. So each school environment is unique, yet all ensured that facilities, food service, and staffing were aligned so every child entered a welcoming and safe space on day one. Across the district, schools have demonstrated measurable improvement in key indicators, a reflection of the hard work of our educators, leaders, students, and families. These gains highlight our shared commitment to strengthening the instructional core and building coherence in practice. Few things lift staff morale more than seeing student achievement rise, and this year we have much to celebrate. Our principals met this month to begin the cycle of data disaggregation, and together we recognized many successes. According to DESE, the official reports will be released to the public, and actually it's not Tuesday, September 30th. They said now Monday, September 29th. So Monday we'll have lots of good news for you. As we await those results, we will continue to celebrate the progress of our schools while doubling our efforts to ensure every student reaches their highest potential. At the same time, the district-wide efforts to deliver structured early literacy supported by high-quality instructional materials and aligned pedagogy is already evident in classrooms, positioning our youngest learners for long-term success. We have also seen increased enrollment at FTCA, Lynn Tech, CASA, and the Early Childhood Center at Bennett Street, reflecting the confidence families place in these programs. I hope you enjoyed the video showcasing these new spaces created by our team. Looking ahead, we are excited to begin planning the expansion of career technical education pathways at English and Classical, and we are equally eager to spread joy and excitement through a multi-year plan to add artificial intelligence learning spaces to our elementary schools. More updates will follow as we continue to develop these initiatives. We are also expanding opportunities for students across high schools. Early college and dual enrollment programs continue to grow, giving more students access to rigorous, credit-bearing coursework that places them on a clear pathway to post-secondary success. While construction at 195 Market will continue through August of 2026, we expect to open the third floor with additional student seats for FTCA in September of 2026. In late June, Lynn Public Schools was honored as a PBL Champion District by PBL Works, a national recognition that underscores our commitment to project-based learning as a powerful approach for deeper engagement and student-centered instruction. Looking ahead, we are all committed to building on the momentum created through thoughtful program design in all of our new spaces. Our strategic plan, which runs through 2029, continues to guide our work through the pillars of equity, excellence, and community partnerships with measurable goals for student achievement, educator development, and operational effectiveness. This year, I will also continue engaging with parents through the city's faith network to strengthen communication and better understand the needs of our families and caregivers. This has been well received, and it is in fact a reminder that there is nothing stronger than community. While there is still much work to do, the opening weeks of 25-26 have already demonstrated what is possible when a district moves forward in coherence. I am proud, optimistic, and excited to share that the future of Lynn is brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Unless do you no further business?
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All fair?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.